I want to talk about a horror movie called, and it just came out. I think it also came out. It came out Barbenheimer weekend, which was unfortunate, but I think it's going to do okay because it is not that expensive of a movie. It's called Talk to Me. I wish I had a trailer. I'm going to find one right now. YouTube, BB. Thank you. Talk to Me. Trailer. Green band. Because I don't want to get in trouble. I've been seeing commercials for it all over the place, but I wanted to see it anyway. I'll tell you why here in a minute. Here we go.
You busy tonight?
You want to turn, eh?
My mum leaves at 9.
So you at 10.
Where'd you get it from anyway?
Apparently it was the hand of someone who could connect with the dead.
I heard it was the hand of a Satanist. The other hand's just out there.
White people shit, man, I tell you.
God dang it. Gosh darn it. They said the S word. Alright, so Talk to Me. It's about these kids who have access to a severed porcelain hand of a medium. A medium. I'm sorry to any people of Romani descent. That's a extremely inside. It's not even a joke. It's just true. But a severed hand of a medium that was covered in ceramic or something, whatever glossy stiffener. And apparently when you grab onto the hand like a handshake, you say, "Talk to me," and I let you in, and you are possessed by a ghost. But these kids, they do it like it's effing heroin, basically. They have to tie you down really tight, so then when you get possessed, you can't do anything. Well, and you can't stay under for longer than 90 seconds. If the ghost is in you for longer than 90 seconds, don't want to stay. And that's where we basically get into the movie. Talk to Me is made by Danny and Michael Philippou. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Two Australian filmmakers. I can't talk. Two Australian filmmakers that they did a YouTube channel called Racka Racka, which I loved. I used to watch it all the time, and then over time they just sort of stopped making as much stuff because they were probably getting actual production work, and led to their first movie, which is this movie, Talk to Me. I cannot play a single clip of any of their stuff on YouTube on this show because they're Australian, so you can't understand them. No, I'm kidding. But they're Australian, they curse a lot, and their videos are full of just gore and mayhem and violence and stunts. But it's awesome. Racka Racka is a great YouTube channel. I loved it for many, many years, and now they've made a movie, Talk to Me. I keep saying it over and over again because I want you to see it, okay? I know, I didn't fall into the Barbenheimer hype right away. I did, actually. I'm still on the hype. I want to see both movies. But I really wanted to see this more because, one, it's a horror movie. We haven't had a lot of horror movies this year. Last year was a horror sensation, and we have not had that many. I'm already looking at this article. It said we had Megan, Skinamarink, and Outwaters came out this year. I hadn't even heard of the Outwaters. I saw the trailers for Megan. I didn't care to see it. And Skinamarink, I heard you gotta really pay attention to and watch in the right conditions. And also it's long and somewhat incomprehensible at times. And I'm going to watch it eventually. This movie is probably the most serious and slow and deliberately paced thing that the Philippou brothers have ever made. Their YouTube shorts or their videos on YouTube are usually a lot more fast paced, a lot louder, a lot more harsh in a editing sense, in a way. Whereas this is a little bit more subdued, a little more quiet until it isn't. And then when it is getting bombastic and crazy, it's like traumatizing in the best ways possible. Very scary, very mean. This is a mean movie. And it's what I was really impressed about was how much they were able to pull back. Because their videos on YouTube are so bombastic and so crazy. I know I keep saying that, but you really gotta look it up because I cannot play a clip. But they do a lot of crazy cool stuff, and in this movie, it has actual characters. You actually get to learn about them through like cool little character-y, filmmaky things. Like they're actually having filmmakers. It's cool. And then even though they do they break doors like nothing all the time in their videos, they do that in this movie. And I was like, oh, I can recognize how they do that. They have great gore effects in their videos sometimes. A lot of the time. And it's always very brutal. There's brutal gore effects in Talk to Me. But even then, though, they let you see just enough, but they don't scare you away with it. They're not as exploitative as they are in their YouTube videos. They're more like, no, we'll just let you get enough to fully grasp it with your eye and then cut away for like really quickly. And I think that's a little bit more scary. And right here it says sickeningly scary. And it is. I like the idea of how the kids in the movie find out about the possessed hand or whatever. Is they're on like Snapchat. I like the idea of like Snapchat challenges, TikTok challenges, and how some of those might affect the youth. I remember back, I don't know if it was when I was in high school or college, but people were eating Tide Pods, and that was a big thing. There was the fire challenge, like people set themselves on fire at one point. What else? The cinnamon challenge. I did the cinnamon challenge once, and that sucked. And apparently some people, you really choke on that. Cinnamon dries you out quick. But yeah. So, it sort of grazes that idea at first. And then, but the part that I really liked is, like, there's a part where, like, the kids don't own the hands. They know a guy who knows a guy who owns the hands, basically. And so they asked those guys to hang out in that little clip I played earlier. They're like, my house at like 9 or 10 or whatever. But then when the guys who own the hand come over, they all just start doing turns and they just start hanging out, and now it is a party. I like the idea of that's how kids get hooked to these sorts of drugs. They just sort of get around, they just do drugs all day. And then they're like, oh, and there's a point where the kid is like putting up the stuff. He's taking the hand, putting it in his backpack, and he's like, "Oh man, still, it never gets old." That's what he says. I say that like that because they're Australian. And it's like, wow, this is like, it's obviously about addiction and how kids get into drugs in this, but also the idea of using the TikTok challengeness of it all. Blending that with the drug use and the grief, and because there's a character who lost their mother in the movie. One could argue they tried to talk to their mother with the hand. I don't know. You gotta go see the movie. And just taking, kind of like I also want to compare it to Requiem for a Dream, and I don't think it's that depraved. This movie is way more fun than Requiem for a Dream, but it is that mean and it is that kind of cruel in a sense when it sort of takes a look at a person who, because of grief, falls into addiction, and then, they just sort of become a slave to that addiction, and they start alienating their friends, hurting the people they love, and then ultimately succumbing and then killing themselves, in a sense. Or losing, becoming, they're almost like they become possessed by the drugs that they've been doing. And I loved all that sort of, what's the word? I don't know. I don't know, double meaning? Yeah, I guess. So you definitely see Talk to Me. Also, it's one of the best sound mixed movies I've ever seen. They do something with a stupid, those little fat dogs that can't breathe. Are those pugs? I don't know if those are pugs. Dog people, let me know. But those dogs that can't breathe, they're always like wheezing, but they're like, that noise. They play with, you don't know if it's the stupid dog that can't breathe or a ghost for about half the movie. And I bet you 75% of the time it's a stupid dog that can't breathe. I love that. They do great stuff with sound. So, it's such good sound in this movie. And the main actress, I'm not going to find her name because I'm not prepared, but she was really good in the movie. I'm so glad that these guys got to do this. And I think Danny and Michael Philippou are about to do the next Street Fighter movie. And some people are like, oh, who gives a flip about Street Fighter as a movie? I'm also like that, but also knowing what these guys, one, have done with this horror movie, which is way beyond what I expected them to do. Why them doing a Street Fighter movie is way more closer to what I expect them to do, and I already know that when they get to get their hands on those fight scenes and doing practical fights, or in camera like flips or crashes and punches and stuff, that's gonna be epic. So I'm actually excited for the next Street Fighter movie whenever that comes out, if these guys are still attached to it. I'm glad that their movie, Talk to Me, is doing okay, despite going up against the two biggest movies of the summer and probably the year. And I think you should go see it. So go see Talk to Me!